then I knew immediately that yes, I definitely will be able to do this, because this is something that I am passionate about. This is something that I see as I work with different clients, as I work with different students. And so I definitely said, yes, I will come and be a part of this very, very important symposium. I would really like to thank the Department of English for organizing this, for having me here, the organizing committee who has so graciously invited me, and especially to Dr. Amta, your HOD, who patiently explained to me what the theme was, what they're expecting, why they're doing this. And so I'm really, really grateful to all of you, to Principal Ma'am and to Sister as well, for having me here. So before wasting any more time, right, I'd like to get into what the topic is. Patriarchy, the invisible string tied to our mental health. Now usually, symposiums, we have a range of experts that talk to you about different things. There might be a session with some question answers, exchange of ideas, but it's usually one-sided because we're just talking, and it's great. But the teacher in me and the therapist in me will feel very uncomfortable if this is a very one-sided conversation. So you're going to see points where you're going to have to participate as well. And so to begin with, I have the first task for y'all where y'all are going to be participating. Already I can see some of you saying, oh, I thought I could come and sleep here. Now she's asking us to participate. But please be alert, okay? In the next few slides, don't go to it yet, there are certain statements that I'm going to read out. Y'all can read it on the screen as well. We'll give a few seconds to read it. If you think you agree with this statement, I will say 3, 2, 1. And you will give one clap if you agree with this statement. Is that clear? That's all that I need you to do. You can go to the first slide. I am exhausted all the time, but I need to keep working to be the best. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Take some time to think. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, go to the next one, please.
Excuse me?
Yes.
That was they all agreed.
Yes, they all agreed.
I disagree.
You disagree, that's fine. Then no claps. No claps.
No clap.
Okay. I am afraid of failure. Sometimes I prefer not to try than to fail. 3, 2, 1. Next one, please. It was just by chance that I did well on this exam, interview and task. Just by chance. Not possible that it was me. 3, 2, 1. Next one, please. Do I really deserve to get this post-award recognition? If at any point in your life you've asked that question, really? Do I deserve to be the president of this club? Or do I really deserve to be in this college? Or do I really deserve to be recognized by this person? 3, 2, 1. I don't know if there's one more. Yeah, one more. Even if I work hard, people will only be disappointed in me. So what's the point? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's the last one, right? Okay. So as you all listen, right, every statement had claps. Some had more claps, some had few claps. And there were people here who did not clap along. And I'm so glad for that, including ma'am here who said she didn't clap along with that. But the reality is that there were some claps. And we are going to get into the next few slides. I'm going to be taking you on a journey, a very short journey, to see why is it that we are experiencing this. And there are multiple reasons. There are reasons of our own personality. There are reasons where maybe we were brought up in a family system that did not help us feel recognized. It might be peers around us. There might be multiple reasons. But today I'm going to focus on just one of those reasons, one lens through which we can see why is it that we experience that. And that's where we again come to patriarchy, the invisible string. So I'd like you to go to the next slide, please. So one of the roots is patriarchy. And I'm sure all of you are here are students of literature. You all have already studied different theories of patriarchy, so I don't need to get into the details of it. But in a simplified form, patriarchy is a system that has been followed for generations society. And that means that they hold power, right? So that's what patriarchy has been. And what that has done is, right, to women is because males need to hold power for patriarchy to keep running, there are certain impositions that have been put on both sides, on the males as well as the females, that you need to be a certain way so that this power can continue. And one of it is this statement, and I'm sure each one of us here have heard it at some point or the other. Either we've heard someone say it directly to us, or we've seen someone say it to someone else, where you say, don't be two. And I'd like you all to complete it. What are some don't be two statements that you have heard people say around you? Can you all just shout it out? Don't be two.
Adamant.
Arrogant.
Adamant.
Adamant. Okay. Childish.
Lousy.
Loud.
Clingy.
Clingy.
Passionate.
Passionate.
Stingy.
Stingy. More. Any more? Childish. Yeah, somebody said childish. What else? Shy. Don't be too shy. Okay. What else? Impatient. Lot of statements here, and I'm going to focus on a few that you all already mentioned, right? Which has very strong roots in patriarchy. You would have heard. Don't be too loud. Don't be too seen. Don't be too powerful. Don't be too sensitive. Don't be too, right? And these are statements that we've either, again, as I said, observed or we've heard it directly. And soon what happens is we internalize it and we become the inner critic. So now nobody here in college might be telling you those things. Nobody might be saying it. In fact, they are saying, we want you to voice out your opinions. We want you to be loud. We want you to be seen. But what has happened is a lot of us, most of us here, have already carried those messages of don't be too. And it's now become a part of us. It's become our inner critic. So now whenever we suddenly see ourselves in a place of power, what's going to happen? We're going to start feeling guilty. Oh no, is this too much power? Maybe I need to do something to lessen it. Maybe I need to say something stupid so that people don't see me as too powerful. Right? It becomes your inner critic. And the definitions of gender that patriarchy gives is too narrow for the uniqueness of humans to be expressed. Right? And so what happens is your authentic self is inhibited. Like Matt was introducing as they were talking about this topic, that there are certain definitions, certain roles that we need to fit into, certain behaviors that we need to have because of what patriarchy has been telling us for generations. But that's too narrow, and so we're starting to live in a very subdued version of ourselves. It's not truly who we are. It's a lessened version of ourselves. And you might be wondering that, science has advanced so much, technology has advanced so much. Can't we feel powerful? Do we really need to stick to these narrow definitions of gender? We know so much, we read so much. Do we really need to stick to it? And you might be wondering why. For so many years, hundreds and thousands of years, we've stuck to it. Why? I'd like to introduce the concept of learned helplessness here. Some of you all might be familiar with it. The concept is relatively new, but the experience has been going on for years. It was introduced by a psychologist, Martin Seligman, in around the 1960s, and he did an experiment. It was an experiment on dogs, right? Because that time doing experiments on animals was ethical. Of course, things have changed now, right? So all the dog lovers here, just hold on and know that things are better right now. But what he did was he administered mild shocks to dogs in a cage. And there were two groups of dogs. The first set of dogs were given these mild shocks, right?
Excuse me, the
Yes.
name of the
Martin Seligman.
Seligman.
S-E-L-I-G-N.
After Pavlov.
Yes, after. Yeah, in the 1960s. Yes. So he gave these shocks to the dog, right? To a set of dogs. And these dogs had to experience it. But there was another group of dogs who were also given these mild shocks. But there was a little button that they could press with their nose or with their paw, which would open up the cage and they were able to escape, right? So they had an escape route. They did not have to stay along with those shocks at all. Now after a while, right, he put both sets of dogs in one cage and again administered these shocks to them. But this time, there was no cage, there was no gate that was closing them. It was easy for them to escape. There was an escape route. Any ideas about whether these dogs, both these groups of dogs, whether they behaved, whether they escaped, or whether you think there was a different response? What do you think? Do you think both dogs escaped the second time where there was an escape route for both of them? Yes or no? No. You are right. The dogs that learned they could press a button or they could do something to escape immediately tried to get away from those shocks. But the dogs that were used to it, were habituated to it, they continued to stay there, even though there was an escape route. So those of you are thinking that there was the escape route of education, there's the escape route of financial stability, there's the escape route of knowledge, but we are still experiencing the effects of it. That's learned helplessness. Because this is what I knew, this is what I know. I know that it's better to be quiet, I know that it's better to be less seen. And so I'm comfortable with that, and so I'm going to continue with that. Right? And that's what we're going to be talking about. Can you move to the next slide, please? Now this is a disclaimer, and I'm sure the one male here is going to be very happy with this. To know that patriarchy affects men too. Right? It affects men too. And why do we say that? Again, remember what I said, the narrow definitions of gender. When if we say that it's narrow for women, it's narrow for men too. And men have also heard these statements. Don't be too. Can you tell me what are some statements that men have heard at the expense of patriarchy? Don't be too smart. Don't be too smart. Have men heard? Okay, don't be too smart. What else?
Don't be too emotional.
Don't be too emotional. Very good. What else? Don't be too kind. Don't be too sensitive. Right? But again, all of us have been born so uniquely, and it will be a part of our personality. So now when men who have the trait of being sensitive, have the trait of being kind, have the trait of expressing emotions, when they start showing that to the world says, no, this means you're weak. Where is your power? Your power is not in emotions. Your power is not in being kind. Your power is not in being sensitive. And so they start being inauthentic again. They are not able to express themselves fully, right? And the same cycle goes on when they start feeling low, they start feeling that they are less, right? And so that is there. But today's talk is going to be a little more biased, and I'm going to be focusing more on the women. Maybe invite me another day and I'll talk more about the men as well. Go to the next one. So women empowerment, right? This is a word that we've been hearing for decades, that women are being empowered. But I'm going to get you to really look into it and see, are women truly being empowered? Now look at all of these names here. You all identify with these names? Do you all know who they are? With most of them?
Yes.
Yeah? So we have Mamata Banerjee here, right, who's been Chief Minister of West Bengal since 2011, right? That must really say something, right? That the population believes in her leadership, right? So she's been there since 2011. We have Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, right, who is a multi-billionaire founder of a biotechnology company in Bangalore. Isha Ambani, because I had to put her in there because everyone's talking about the Ambani wedding right now. And Isha Ambani is a daughter of Mukesh Ambani. And you have Deepika Padukone, right? A very famous actress, Bollywood, and I think she's also worked in Hollywood as well, right? So all these women here, they definitely, would you agree that they're empowered? Are they empowered? Some of you are saying no. Yes or no? Do you think they're empowered women? surprised to see some of the effects of patriarchy on their responses. For instance, Mamata Banerjee in one of her interviews said that I'm not a VIP. What's a VIP? I'm not a VIP. I'm an LIP. What's an LIP? Less important person. Right? Why would someone who is such a great leader have to make that statement? Patriarchy. Because there was too much power. People are seeing me too much. I'm too powerful. So let's just insert the statement here. So people see me as humble. People see me as being very, there's a lot of humility in me. And that's what the reporter said. So this person carries so much of humility. Mamata Banerjee carries so much of humility because she doesn't consider herself a very important person. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw said that when she started hiring people for her company, men walked in, right, and said that a woman is hiring. I don't know if I want to really give an interview to a woman, right? But now she's in a multi-billionaire company. But again, Isha Ambani, this is something that you all can fact check, right? I wanted to learn a little bit more about her, so I just started typing in the Google search bar, Isha Ambani. As I just typed it, as I was searching, recommendations come, right? So it said Isha Ambani, internet personality, daughter of Mukesh Ambani. You all can go and search for Anand Ambani, who's currently getting married, right? You all can go and do a search, and you will see something there. You will see, it's just written there, internet personality, full stop, right? Again, this is the world that we are living in where there is so much of women empowerment, but there is also so much of absence of it. And Deepika Padukone, she again spoke about how she had to fight for years to get the same salary as her male counterparts in movies. And all of these people, right, at some point or the other have experienced anxiety, have experienced depression, have experienced questioning, am I really good enough? At such high positions, you would think, why don't you have the confidence? You've accomplished so much. That little inner critic that says, am I doing too much? Am I really worth this role? Am I really worth this money? Right? Of course, we talk about Isha Ambani. She was born into wealth, right? So there wasn't, you might say there wasn't really much that she had to do. But she still started the initiative of Ajio. How many of you all have shopped in Ajio? You all are familiar with that e-commerce site, a very successful e-commerce site, which she was the brainchild for, and that was something that she did. Look at her education, of course she had the funds, but she also worked hard. But no one would be able to see that. They're still able to see her as the daughter of someone in today's world. Right? Yes.
What is an internet personality?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you because I avoid social media, it's my rule.
Yeah.
I avoid it entirely.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I just want to know what that means. Do they have no other function? Or
yeah, they do have a function, but they consider...
No other profile.
Yeah,
they have no other profile apart from their presence on the internet.
Yeah, they do have a profile, but they are also considered very famous on the internet. So that is a title. Just for people to follow either things that they are doing, maybe what the work that they are doing, or they want to follow them to just know the fame, the wealth that they carry. And so they become a